Okay, we're not there yet, but just so you know, here's some characteristics of living organisms that we're going to be looking at. We need to talk about energy, produce wastes, respond and adapt to their environment, reproduce, and grow. Okay, now this is where we're going to start copying here, but there's three parts to the cell theory. Okay, and the first one is this basically right here. So all organisms are composed of one or more cells. Okay. Organisms, when we talk about organisms, we're talking about living things, whether it be trees or people or whatever, and composed is made up of. Okay, so all living things are made up of one or more cells. Cells are the smallest functional unit of life. Inside our cells, we have things like organelles, which we're going to look at some of those, chromosomes, DNA, structures, functions, illustrations. Okay. And last one is all cells are produced from other cells. What we're going to do next is basically the same type of deal we did in chemistry. We kind of talked about, what do the atoms look like, and so on and so on. And in this case here, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, who came up with some theories about cells, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to fill in that little table there for you. Okay, so we're going to explore the development of the cell theory by examining different scientists and the contributions they had, and we're going to complete this chart in our notes. Okay, so Aristotle. You have a few things to figure out there, and we'll talk about that once you fill in a few things there. All right. So the first scientist we're going to talk about is Aristotle. He pops up again here. So 350 BCE proposed that life could emerge spontaneously from non-living matter. So he thought that things just spontaneously generated. So for example, the ridiculous, but for example, he thought that sweaty underwear and wheat husks would make mice. Like he just desk plus pencil gives you dog. Like that, like just random stuff, right? And of course, this false idea was accepted until the 19th century. Things just spontaneously made themselves. And again, why was that accepted until the 19th century? Well, what else did he do? What was his other false idea? Yeah.
Wasn't it back in the last unit about it was just like the four elements of earth, wind, fire,
water? Yeah. So he was famous back then, right? Whatever he said went. So people just believed him until the 19th century, right? Same kind of thing here. Like he had a lot of theories, and people were like, "Well, he's famous, so he's got to be right." Yeah.
You're saying for over 2,000 years, people just believed that life came out of nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. The next guy we're going to look at is Robert Hooke, and I'll let you copy first, and we'll just talk a little bit about that, I guess. So Robert Hooke, like I said, 1665, he used a crude light microscope, okay, magnification 30 times to look at slices of cork. He saw all these tiny little rooms, and he called them cells because he kind of reminded him of where monks used to study. So he was kind of the first one to use a very simple microscope to examine these tiny little layers of cells. Okay, good. Okay, in 1674, which one's next for you guys? Van Leeuwenhoek. Oh yeah, okay, right there. So that'll be this guy here. I don't know what happened to my I'm not sure what happened to my title there, but anyway, in 1674. All right, so in 1674, Leeuwenhoek, he studied microorganisms from pond water, blood, and teeth scrapings using a microscope, but that magnified 500 times. So improved microscope and identified single-celled organisms. So he was able to do that with his microscope. We used to, we won't do it this year, and I actually didn't do it last year, but sometimes we take scrapings from our mouth and put them on a slide and take a look at them, so you can see the cells that are in your mouth. But we're probably not going to do that this year, for sure. And we didn't do it last year either. But that's okay. All right. Next, Robert Brown. Using an improved microscope, he identified an important cell structure called the nucleus. Okay. Magnifying glass. Schleiden and Schwann. Okay. Whenever I think about Schleiden and Schwann, I think about ice cream for some reason. What? Why is that? Yeah.
Kind of sounds like Haagen-Dazs.
No, it's that other. No, it's not Haagen. It doesn't sound like that at all. Schleiden, isn't there like an ice cream that's like?
There's like some ice creams that are like German and stuff. And it almost sounds like a German one.
Huh? No, it doesn't sound like that at all. That's just as bad as Haagen-Dazs. No, it sounds like. No, neither one. No, like, isn't there like an ice cream after Schwann?
It's ginger ale. Oh.
We're not talking about ginger ale. Almost ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
No, I guess we don't. So 1838, animals and plants are composed of cells, the basic unit of life. The nucleus is responsible for the development of the cell, so that's what they came up with. All right. Next was Louis Pasteur, 1859. He disproved the theory of spontaneous combustion. And this was kind of his experiment here. We have a little diagram to show you that. You could kind of draw that a little bit too. I think that wouldn't be a bad thing, probably. He boiled meat broth in 2 flasks. In one flask, the neck was bent to prevent air and dust from getting in. What happened? Mold did not grow in the flask that had the bent neck, but it did grow in the normal flask. So, maybe we can copy a little. You don't have to be exact with that, but again, we look at heating up broth, okay, in 2 parts. Basically, in this case here, okay. In this case here, I know it doesn't kind of seem right, but basically what he's saying is this one is letting the air in, okay. This is, and if you want to put that, that's fine. This one's letting the air in. This one is basically not letting the air in. I know it doesn't look like that, but that's kind of the idea there, okay. So you might want to draw those, and we'll talk a little bit about controlled variables in this experiment as well. What is the controlled variable in this case? Yeah. What do you think?
Like you're heating it to the same amount, probably
Yep.
the same amount of product.
Yeah, same class, same heating it the same amount, probably, right? Keeping those things the same. Probably time as well could be a controlled variable, right? What's the responding variable in this case? Somebody else. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the growth and no growth, right? So that'd probably be the responding variable. Okay. Manipulate. What's the manipulated variable? What did you change? What? The next. Okay. So one is broken off so air can get in, and the other one is not. Okay. Good. This one here. Well, let's get this done before we go for the day here. So Virchow, 1859. Cells arise from pre-existing cells is what he came up with. And you probably don't need to copy down the diagram in this case. If you want to, you can. But that's up to you. Okay?